Hey guys, I'm Mike Lum, TravelCostaRicanNow.com. That's Moshi doing what he does best. He's kind of a night cat. Anyway, guys, someone asked me, hey, Michael, what were you doing before you got to Costa Rica? And I was like, okay, I can do that video, no problem. Now, I'm going to outline it. It's not going to be too boring. Don't worry, I'm not going to drag on. I'm just going to tell you how I got from like there to here. All right, anyway, you got to start somewhere, so I'm going to start back in 1983. I was 23 years old. I got married. My wife was 18 at the time. We had absolutely no business getting married, none whatsoever. We lived in a trailer park. I was a powerlifting security guard. I was going nowhere. We were living paycheck to paycheck. We had 2 kids in 3 years. And matter of fact, my life just personally in my own head was... Here's how bad it was going at that time a little bit. My wife used to say, Mike, be good tonight with your friends because we don't have bail money for you. I was arrested, I don't know, maybe 5-6 times for the, like disorderly type stuff. Anyway, but I think probably that had a lot to do with maybe just anger, the fact I wasn't going anywhere. And then you're probably going, Michael, how you were married? Wow, that's weird. I thought you were gay. Well, that's probably part of the problem why I was so angry, I guess. Gotta say a little bit about the gay because that's kind of how since I am that, I'll explain that real quick. Yeah, so I chose gay probably when you chose to be straight. So, which was, you always were, right? So that's kind of me too. But back in that time of growing up, luckily for me, and I feel bad for people that are kind of, you just look at it and go, man, that dude's gay. I wasn't like that. I was a sporty dude. I'm not that gay. I could get away with it. I could probably kick most people's asses. I played every sport, so I was probably the guy picking on the femboy actually. So, yeah. Anyway, so that was in my head. Obviously, that was a problem. And, years later, I can only describe it like this. Mike, you kind of, it wasn't very nice of you to get married. And all I can tell you is, like I told my wife, when you lie to yourself, you don't tell anybody else the truth. Okay, so that's kind of how it went. And I loved being married. I had a good life, and here it goes right now. So 1987, so we had a 5 years from 83 or 4 years, 83 to 87. Things weren't good, like financially, we weren't going anywhere type, just paycheck to paycheck. So 1987, everything changed. We got a job working with, in a national organization, working with behavior problem kids. We were what you call family teachers. So we lived 24/7 with 7 to 8 gangsters, behavior problem kids. So from 1987 to about 2000, that's where everything clicked. We started making money we didn't have to use because they paid for everything. So we were able to invest money. We bought a nice house to when we left that job that we would have. I was involved in 6 or 7 rental properties with my brother. I started my 401k. I got my degrees. I actually went back to school and did school stuff. I was reading a lot then. Everything was kind of happening, So those were kind of our growing years, and things were really good, life altering, changed the whole course of our life, and we were able to save money. Quit that job about 13, 14 years later. Can't really remember the timeline, but back in like 1999 to 2000, I started doing my own thing. I wrote my own book about working with behavior problem kids. So I was like I would go into your house. I was like Nanny 911. I never watched that show, but I was that guy, and I was very good at it, and I made a lot of money doing it. So now, okay, and my wife was a nurse, so we still had, money still coming in, everything is going good, kids are getting older. So in 2001, kind of the perfect storm happened for everything, and I'll tell you what that means. So 2001, we were on a reality show called Under One Roof. It was like a Survivor with families. It was in Fiji. So we won. Still freaks me out to this day. This long later, still freaks me out. We won this big ass house on the island of Fiji. If you want to watch that show, and it's it's on YouTube. If you type in Under One Roof reality show, you can watch it. remember, it's not really reality, so just keep that in mind. We did win the house, and that was kind of the perfect time when everything segued. My wife and my kids actually went down to that house to kind of live. I stayed in Las Vegas. I kind of jumped out of the closet, so I started living more of a, the gay life. Now, prior, it wasn't new to anybody. I was already kind of setting. My wife and my kids actually went to gay bars with me, so we'll just leave it at that. So this wasn't a huge shocker that way. But anyway, so, they went down to Fiji, and, I started kind of living life. So things just started separating, and we just never got back. So lo and behold, I met D'Angelo, the other guy in the videos, our earlier videos, and we just got an opportunity to come down here. I was like, hey, man, I could go for simple life, and, my wife and kids are down in Fiji. They're doing something. Why don't I do something? So it just kind of all happened. So we brought, I would say maybe $125,000 down here to do something with. Thereabouts that kind of money. I can't recall, but that's kind of it. That's a whole nother story of getting down here, what happened here and all that is a whole different story. But that's my life before. That's it. Man, I wish I could tell you some of the details, though, because they're pretty good, too. My story's good. Anyway, guys, I'm Michael Allen, TopicsCoastRicanNow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps. Bye, Moshi.